She asked if he could keep her warm. The winter storm came without warning, sweeping across the coastline with teeth of ice and breath of frost. Trimian had been working on the lighthouse foundation when the first winds hit, carrying salt and biting cold from the sea. He could have stayed. The cold rarely touched him, not since his hands had begun to glow. But as the skies darkened to a bruised purple, he saw the small group of gatherers hurrying back from the tide pools, bent against the wind, laden with half-filled baskets. The temple would be open to them, of course. The elders would light the great braziers and offer shelter. But Trimian knew they would go last, if at all. The oldest grandmother, the young pregnant woman, the limping trader who had arrived the previous day. Outsiders like him in their own way. He hesitated only a moment before leaving his work, descending the cliff path toward the shore where they struggled. His approach caused the expected reaction. Back stiffening, eyes lowering, the subtle shifting away even as the wind pushed them sideways. "There's a cave," he said, voice nearly lost in the gale. "Closer than the temple." They didn't answer, but they didn't refuse when he gestured for them to follow. The cave opened in the cliff face, not far from where his stone tower foundation was taking shape. Shallow but dry, with walls that curved to block the worst of the wind. Inside, they huddled against the far wall, still separate from him, still watching with the wariness he had come to expect. The cold deepened as sunset gave way to true night. Their breath clouded the air, bodies shivering despite being pressed together. The grandmother's lips had taken on a bluish tint. The pregnant woman rubbed her swollen belly with trembling hands. "We need a fire," the trader said, looking around at the bare stone floor. Trimian nodded, though they all knew there was nothing to burn. No driftwood, no brush, nothing but stone and sand. The silence stretched, broken only by the howling wind and the chattering of teeth. It was the grandmother who finally spoke, her voice cracked and thin with age and cold. "Boy," she said, addressing him directly for the first time, "they say your hands carry fire." Trimian looked down at his palms, where the familiar glow pulsed just beneath the skin, the light they feared, the warmth they avoided. "Not fire," he said quietly, "just warmth." The old woman held his gaze, weighing something in her mind. Then she nodded once, a decision made. "Can you keep us warm?" she asked. Simple words that weren't simple at all. An invitation that was also a surrender, a risk, a trust he hadn't been offered before. Trimian moved slowly, giving them time to change their minds, to remember their fear. When none did, he sat in their circle and carefully, deliberately, let the light in his hands grow. The glow spread, not just from his palms now, but up his arms, across his chest, a gentle radiance that brought with it tangible heat. The cave filled with amber light, warm as morning sun. The pregnant woman sighed as the warmth reached her. The trader's tense shoulders loosened. The grandmother's eyes never left Trimian's face. "Not destruction," she murmured so softly he barely heard. "Creation." They stayed that way through the night, Trimian burning like a human hearth, giving what had always been taken as a threat. By morning, when the storm had passed, something else had changed too. The way they looked at him, not with fear, but with something new. Recognition, perhaps. As they prepared to leave, the grandmother pressed something into his palm. A small shell pendant, polished by years of wear against her skin. "Light that stays," she said simply, closing his fingers around it. That evening, as Trimian returned to his tower work, he hung the pendant on jutting stone where it caught the setting sun. Warmth given, Warmth returned, the beginning of a different prophecy, one he was writing himself.